Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Gaming the System, the podcast where three intersectional feminists examine gaming and games through a feminist lens. Today, I'm your host, Alex, and I'm joined by Matt. Before we get started, if you want to support us, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem for some exclusive content. Or you can send us a one-off donation via PayPal to our email address wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com. Okay, so moving on to a few other news stories for the recent weeks and months. Matt, what's your next offering for us?
So I'm going to put a picture up, and Alex, I'd like you to describe it and see if you recognise it. Bring it up. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so having a look at this, it says on the bottom, first to look, USA track and field kits unveiled by Nike for 2024 Paris Olympics. And having a look at them now, you've got the men's kit, which is all very patriotic, red, white and blue. There's only a little bit of white in it for the Nike tick and the USA letters. The rest is sort of a mishmash of red and blue with the American flag on the other shoulder, and it's all very, straightforward and American and pretty neutral. Whereas the women's one looks like a swimming costume, and it's pink and red, and it's got pink and purple stripes going all sort of like really thin stripes going all along vertically down the body, and emphasizing different shapes. There's like a midsection that looks like a triangle underneath the boobs that runs down to the sort of hips, outlined in red, and a line running down from the throat to the sort of breastbone as well, to kind of emphasize the different body shape. But yeah, I'm not impressed. I am not impressed, for anyone who can or can't see the picture. It's very, very, I just feel very patronised and almost infantilised. It looks quite childish, the women's outfit. Yeah, why couldn't the women just have the same colours in the shorts? They don't even have shorts. They've got to go out there with bare legs and bare bums. Like, I don't really understand. I'm mystified.
Yeah. I hadn't even noticed anything about the colour or the design. I hadn't even noticed that it was pink. It's just the crotch area is unbelievable.
It is.
It's like a
it's
thong.
very, very, like, it goes way above the bikini line. Not bikini line, the upper thigh. So it's going up beyond like the pelvis bone and kind of up around the hip bone. So it's really, really high finish for it. But yeah, it could be quite revealing, let's just say. Yeah, it's very disappointing.
It's jaw dropping that, and if we were coming up with a satirical like version of the women's clothing, I doubt we'd even think to come up with it as ridiculous as the.
It doesn't look good at all. I just don't understand why they couldn't replicate the men's and have it be exactly the same, but just on a woman's body. Like, I don't understand why that's so hard.
Yeah, and the all of the problems with that. So there's one of the problems with the kind of, you may not know this, with porn, is all of the vaginas look exactly the same. Every single one looks exactly the same, whereas in truth, everyone can look completely different. Can built up completely different ways, and some are far more vulnerable to clothing like that.
Yeah.
And so straight
I can't
away,
imagine it would be the most
women are going to be.
comfortable. Will it? It's going to be pretty chafy down there. Yeah, not one I'd want to wear. Unless they wear shorts over the top of it. You don't know, do you? They could have shorts they could pull on over the top. But then why would they not be included in the kit? That's just, doesn't seem ideal to me.
It's another area of, we've talked about wearing white clothing when you're on your period, and how there's all the stuff that goes along with periods that is meant to be hidden, like just the period itself, blood, tampon, sanitary pads, all that stuff that for our entire lives has been told that it's disgusting and shameful and dirty. And that could all be exposed, the danger of that happening. And then there's also, women are supposed to be shaved legs, shaved armpits. And now they're going to, if they choose not to shave, then people are going to go, oh, it's pubic hair, it's disgusting, it's you're basically nude there. Whereas, can you imagine being on the biggest stage and having to worry about all of that?
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, I've certainly worried about it with just a swimming costume, like, because that's what happens when you wear things that look like swimming costumes. Because that certainly does. But it's a worry. Yeah, it's just such a weird decision. Like, you can't have the same as the men. We have to make you different. And then they've done it in such a weird, patronising, infantilizing way with the, like, really baby pink colour. Well, not baby pink, but it is a lighter pink. It's not like a... It's a feminine colour, if you would call it so. But it's just very strange, and I don't really understand why you wouldn't just have the same colours if you're representing a particular country.
Yeah, it's again just a baffling thing that just shouldn't be. And apparently the Nike came out quickly and said, oh, there are tons and tons of alternatives.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But why is
that the lead image?
Why is this the only one that anyone's seen?
Yeah, the image they're leading with. Maybe it's to create a buzz around it. I mean, you don't know these days what people plan when they do media releases, but I think if their intention was to get people talking about it, then they've probably succeeded, because we're talking about it. But it just is, I think a lot of the time these sorts of people live on different planets and they don't really understand the impact of what they're putting out. Or they do understand, and, they're just trying to mould everybody around to their way of thinking. I don't know. Making huge generalisations, of course. But, it is a baffling one. Thank you, Matt. I hadn't seen that. I'm intrigued to see what other countries' kits are like now. We need to find an opposite example to be like this country, and then you'll be fine.
It comes down to, like, again, what women are allowed to wear. There are places in the world where women aren't allowed to dress like that, and places where they are. But women are always told, oh, if you show too much skin, then you're being a slut. You're being asking for it. All of those things about it that come with that. And women aren't allowed to wear hijabs, full face hijabs in Paris, in France, just because of the government.
I think they are allowing
we'll
some
appease the
athletes
racists
to wear them. I think I read the other day that there's a fencer who's been allowed to wear her hijab. Not a full face one, just a head one. But so that's already created a lot of discussion. But yeah, it's that's definitely really important to point out, that in Paris, obviously, there are those barriers to be met with. Well, not just Paris, the whole of France, but, it's really interesting to consider the limitations on all the different cultures, because, of course, the Olympics and Paralympics are an event in which the world has its eyes on. Everyone is going to be watching if they're into sport and they're supporting their country, and the impression you create if you're the host nation kind of says a lot about society in that country, which is interesting.
Yeah, so you're completely right about people just living on a different planet, just in a completely different reality. And the problem comes when those people are in positions of power.
I mean, I think the women's kit was clearly designed like from a male gaze perspective, isn't it? You can't tell me it's not, because it's not practical for a woman. It's just designed to get people ogling at their upper thighs and their bum when they bend down on the start lines for their races and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's just another point where people living in a separate reality inflict their version of reality onto normal people. So the first thing that a man will see when they get shown that picture, if they're an athlete, will go, okay, cool, and carry on and focus on their performance. What a woman sees is, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I can't wear that. Are they going to make me wear that? I'm going to have to shave my entire body every single day.
Yeah.
And what are people going to say about me? And what if it snaps? What if it snaps when I'm in the middle of something?
Yeah.
Just like with women in tennis and the white clothing.
Mm. I just do a lot of exasperated sighs for this portion of the podcast. I don't think there's anything else that sums up my feelings quite so well as an exasperated sigh. But yeah. It'll be one to watch, definitely. Maybe we should do like a review show on like all of the women's sporting outfits in the Olympics. That would be interesting. It would be. I'd listen.
Yeah, it'd be interesting coming
to anyone out there that does Olympics podcasts. But yeah, I have another story to share, if you're happy to move on. Cool. So you might have guessed what this one might be about, since a certain game we've talked about before releases tomorrow, I believe. I could be wrong, but again, it's basically this week. Stellar Blade's coming out. And otherwise known as boob physics times 1000 plus bum, basically. And I've got a review here. I've been a bit picky and biased in my searching for reviews. I found one that made me laugh the most from its headline, which is from the Rolling Stone, which says, Stellar Blade is a teenage boy's idea of the perfect video game, which basically sums it up. Based on all of our thing. It says here, PlayStation's latest is a gory mashup of sweaty action and cheesecake gazing. Do you know about the expression cheesecake, Matt? They keep referring to the main character as a cheesecake, or at least the developers do. I assume it just means something that's yummy and sweet and nice to look at. Yeah, because there's all sorts of phrases within gaming, like cheesing, but I don't think they're related. But yes, I'm going to find some of my favourite sections of the article that kind of sum up pretty much our feelings about it, and also kind of basically the overall takeaway was that it's in parts okay, a bit meh gameplay-wise, but it's comically, ironically funny because it's just watching soft porn, basically, in really serious and intense situations, but it's made laughable because of the way the character is portrayed, the main character, Eve. Let me see if I can find my quote. Here we are. This one's quite an interesting one. So it's talking all about basically the way that Eve is portrayed as like this sex object rather than a fully formed character because of the way she looks. She's really thin, she's got huge boobs, she's got a massive bum, and it's basically the camera spends a lot of the time looking up at that bum from a certain angle. And it says, does it make it a bad game? Not really. Video games aren't a monolith. They should be as open a palette as cinema or any other medium. But does the gratuitous male-gazy focus help make it a good game? It certainly makes it a hilarious one. Which I thought was an interesting quote. Then it goes on about the plot. And apparently the character that Eve portrays is part of an airborne squad dubbed Angels. So everyone calls her an angel, which again has overtones of just like horrible sexist crap that women have to deal with on the daily. But yes, let's see. Eve is not a character, it says. She's a vassal onto which overly sexualized violence is projected. What consists of her characterization swings wildly between whatever scenario she's placed in. Sometimes she's a completely helpless fawn in need of rescue, completely devoid of agency. Other times she's an unstoppable killing machine who can pull off gravity-defying displays of viscera against behemoth abominations without breaking a sweat. Sometimes she's over it all and moody. Others, she's a nurturing, messianic figure, helping bring humanity together by solving their day-to-day struggles. So basically saying that the character's not well-rounded at all and is just reacting to the situations, or at least in a very heavily scripted way, is reacting to certain situations, but is not in any way meant to be a deep, multi-layered character, which implies obviously that the developers knew what they were doing and was essentially producing it for the male gaze and for people who wanted that kind of content. What is your feelings on that, Matt?
It's a bit sad, really, because I played the first 15 minutes, and it's just one of those games where you're just like, and it's just not very good. And it feels like they just haven't made a good game, because if you take away all the infamy about the main character, what you're left with is not a very good foundation for a game anyway. And every line of dialogue is one of those ones where you just go, and then every line that is spoken, then the acting of it is going,
it's really bad.
And she's wearing a tie.
Yeah, I saw those. I saw some of the outfits. Yeah. There's quite a lot of outfits in the game from what I can gather. Essentially, it's like she's a dress-up doll. Almost, isn't it? Like, what outfit shall I have her playing for the next 5 minutes that I like the most?
That's a really good description of it, actually. She is like a doll, and she has no personality. The first thing that happens is your angel squadron is deployed onto a planet, and literally only you and another woman survives. And immediately you go, oh no, everyone's dead, oh no. Even though you're supposed to be the best soldiers in the galaxy. And then you go in open mind, see and goes, and you just go, just at every step it goes, at every step. And then to look at another thing that isn't that you notice is, first of all, the high heels are like ridiculous, almost vertical. But the biggest thing is, her boobs. The physics, there's boob physics, and then there's stupid physics that doesn't make any sense, because the point of bras is to support boobs, And the point of sports bras is to extra support them so that they're not flapping about all over the place. And these ones, it's literally like they may as well just be out. That's how they move.
I was reading in the article I've got here, it was saying that they were moving even when she was standing still, which is something that no women's boobs have ever achieved in reality, I don't think. So, yeah. But no, it's definitely interesting that you are in agreement with this particular review, in that, in a way, a lot of the core gameplay might be described as potentially just copied and pasted from other games. Would you say that?
It's just limp,
lackluster.
It feels like what I think of games is that I don't care what you do, just do something, and even if there's one thing that frustrates me so much is there are some things in games that have just been perfected. There are elements you can look through all the gaming pantheon and go, there are games that are just 100%. It is just good. So, for example, combat in God of War, in the new ones, especially Ragnarok, is basically as good as combat can be in lots of different ways. So, if a game designer copies that completely, I think that's a good thing, because then that area of their game is enhanced. And then you can write your own story and add it to that, and then the combat will be really good. And then as you go through the iterations of the game, you're going to build from that. And when people start as if they're making the wheel for the first time, that's how you end up with stuff like this, where you think you've got these broad ideas, and now with Unreal Engine, anyone can make a game look incredible, and some parts of it looks good. The trailer looked good, but at every point it just hits that mark of just meh. Not doing anything. Do something. Poke it and go do something.
I'll read you another section that caught my eye. It says, there's a sequence mid-game that's ripped straight from Uncharted 2, where Eve must escape a dangling train car as plummeting debris and freight rain around her. Where Uncharted made this into one of the most harrowingly cinematic scenes in the series, here it plays like a porn parody as the camera shifts almost exclusively behind her rear for full-frame upskirts while she's pelted comedically in the head.
Yeah. Parody. That's perfect. That perfectly describes it. Parody. It's a parody of a game.
See, this is where you start to question whether that was the developer's intention or what, because where do you draw the line? Do you think they obviously didn't want it to be, the plot to be taken seriously, otherwise they wouldn't have made such a obviously distracting and I don't want to say eye-catching because that's the wrong phrase, character. They want everyone's attention to be on Eve, don't they?
My theory on the world is, as I've said many times before, that 99% of men are stuck at the age of 15, and don't develop before beyond that. And because that is, I have been that, and I've spent a long time as that, and I'm still trying to just to expand myself away from that. I know that they 100% were trying to do a good thing. Not trying to do a good thing. They're serious. They wrote this story with the goal of it being a story. They developed her as a character. They did all of this on purpose. None of it is going Machiavellian, going, aha, well, it's just a vehicle, so people will buy it because of this sexy character. It's going, oh, we've made this sexy character, and we've written a story, and we've made combat, and we've done this. So it's all deliberate, sober doing what they want to do.
And there's certainly a sinister side to some of the other characters as well. I've got another section I'm just going to read for you about the developers intentionally designing things the way they've been designed, as we've just mentioned. So it says, that's their prerogative, but it stands out starkly when every female character, from iffy-aged NPCs to a cherub-like engineer, also resemble waifu pillow designs. It's more than a little unsettling when the team's hacker speaks like an adolescent chimney sweep garbed in a dominatrix's swimwear. It's good.
Like
it's a good review, isn't it?
I'm assuming it's a she. Who wrote it?
It's a long article. Christopher Cruz.
Good lad. Should try and get him on the podcast. Because he's saying like pretty much what we've been saying a lot of times, and saying it in a very funny and
engaging way. Yes. He also mentions the men in the game as well. All but 2 of the game's male characters don't even have faces, instead opting for cybernetic enhancements or flat-out robot heads at all times to complement their tactical windbreakers and military pants. Yes.
It's just there's so every time I see something that's just a bit meh, I just think just all that wasted time and potential. We've solved so many problems. We invented the wheel so long ago, and people still starting from as if they've never even heard of a wheel and they think they're genius, rather than going, God, we've made this and it's terrible compared to other things, and then starting from there and spending 4 years building a game, not building up to this over 4 years.
I know. It is concerning, but yeah.
And
sorry, you go on.
Sorry, one other thing. Back to the 14, 15-year-olds place. Whenever I see that so clearly and nakedly in something, it makes me feel sad, because I recognise it and I'll go, oh God, that's like our default setting. And I just see it and I recognise it, and then I remember those feelings and I go, oh, for God's sake, that's marketed at me. People think that's me. And it's just deeply disappointing.
Yes. Well, I'm glad there's at least one review out there that shares our sentiments on the game. I was a little perturbed to see PlayStation Access promote it with their headline or tagline for the video being, "It's not what you expect," which I have chosen to interpret negatively in that they're promoting it in a positive way. But I haven't actually watched the video, so I'll probably come back and update you guys on that take. But I think they're probably being paid to review it and promote it because they work for PlayStation, being PlayStation Access.
Yeah, and
of course the game has been designed by Sony. So, yeah. That's what's behind
institutional
that.
problem.
Because you can't tell me that they don't have opinions about it that they can't express. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes back to institutional problems.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
This isn't a tiny indie studio making their own game, which would be that'd be fine when it's. I agree that we talked about this in terms of censorship. Everything should be fair game, I think, for the most part, because we shouldn't try and stop someone doing this. But then when it's institutions reaching down and it reaching all the way through an institution from start to finish and going, yeah, this is good. We'll choose this. That's part of the problem.
It sends a message out, doesn't it?
Because
yeah,
it
is part of the problem because it's essentially just capitalism again, isn't it? All they want is for people to buy the game. And the best way to do that is to get channels or people who they know that a lot of people follow to promote it in a positive way. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for future developments. This has been a really fun episode on gaming news, and I'm sure we'll be back with another one in the coming months and or weeks. Thank you for listening and for watching, and do take the time to leave a comment if you have any thoughts on any of the stories we've talked about. Give it a like, give it a share, let everyone know, and we'll be back for our next episode next Thursday, most probably. Thank you very much. I've been Alex. We've also had Matt. So thank you, Matt, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.